Welcome to the second film in the Exploring Latte in the Marianas series, Amot Giya Alamagan. This second film takes us on a journey north into Ghani. My name is Layla Havea Fleming Staffler, and I make films about history and culture. 18 people joined this adventure. Among us was a Zoamti or traditional healer, a Western doctor, two Zoamti apprentices, outdoor enthusiasts, academics, Precinct 4 and Northern Islands representative Babauta, and even Miss Sianamai, our reigning beauty queen. The purpose of this film is to show people culturally significant sites that most people have never seen and to promote our traditional healing practices. The goals of this film are to look for medicinal plants that are rare in the South, show people the unique Latte and Lusang on the island, and to interview Duamtian residents of the island. Let me introduce you to one of the Duamti who joined us on this trip.
Okay, my name is Donald Beneventi Mendiola. I am a teacher. I've been doing it for 22 years. I'm a certified translator, and I've been a healer for 49 years, and I've been a weaver for 50 plus years. I learned to weave mats, bags, hats, all the intricate weaving from the pandanus. I was a weaver, a basket weaver, when I was 5 years old. I wove using coconut fronds, but then when I was 9 years old, I kind of kicked it up a notch and started weaving pandanus. And I've been weaving, and I became a master weaver for the pandanus. I'm the master weaver for CNMI. And when I turned 12, I became a spiritual healer. That's something a little higher level of a feeling because I use chants, incantations, and prayers in my healing. Okay, there are three specific types of medicinal plants that I am excited to look for and obtain and bring to Saipan, and they are just three: potpuput, agahga, and tupun azuzu. We do have, but very sparsely are they located. I mean, the potpuput, the tupun azuzu can be found in the cliffs at the edge of Mount Apocho. It's very difficult to get. It's very dangerous. You gotta have to tie yourself with a rope and slowly go down and just to obtain it. It's very scary, and I don't want to do that. So what we do is we ask people from Rhoda, because it's plentiful in Rhoda. That those three medicines they're very rarely found here in Saipan. So I get them from Rhoda. But if you go up to Alamagan, I'm so excited to look and find them and bring them to Saipan and propagate them here. Okay.
What is another thing about going up north that you look forward to experiencing?
Oh yes, I've never been there physically, but I've communicated with the Manantigo, our elders, ancestors who were there when they were alive. I asked them. They make the area clear. And I asked them to maintain peacefulness, love, and I asked them to push away all the negative energy, to remove it from the island when we approach.
The journey north, you will always see islands in the horizon. The islands north of Saipan are Ghani, and the islands south from Saipan are Laguas. 18 hours later, we finally reach Alamagan. The reason I make these films is that I really think it's important for our people to know about their heritage and homeland. We are the people of Oceania, and we have a very rich history as seafarers in the Blue Continent. This film explores the mysteries of our land, the complexities of our healing practices, and the history of our people through the remnants of their lives. We will learn from the current residents about the people who lived there before us. Alamagan has challenging, rugged landscapes, ranging from steep to very steep terrain. On this 3-day expedition, we hike through the rugged terrain to 2 villages with the Northern Islands mayor and his staff as our guides. It was challenging from the start. There is no pier or dock when you arrive. All of the passengers and cargo are at the mercy of the tides and swell. The beaches are covered in big boulders and not soft sand. The rocks are very slippery and you have to be very careful.
Buenas para todos, Samson. Rose is not down in Mendiola. Ilitratista si Terry Francisco. Kaya si isla na Alamagan na malago be fanuyam to ni mampus man la is itrom kunizu gini kita Alamagan. Atara naman ni papa nito malang 3 años. Papa bula. Dati tayo gini kita sa ipan na nabili na. Bula la. Okay. Atan papa niya. Estike magi sengtung gini kita Alamagan. Bula siya gini pala. Gahal lugar wai komunsan nito. Kung sakan hanum man sakan mamaktin hanum na kusina. Wasakan umumak, wasakan maigo. Bula fruta, may troncong puga. Gasa flores, bula iba. Bula no talisay. Gasa troncong mangga. Bula sa tinanong niya gini muna na sungsung. And there's a lot of the important ingredient for the amudasma, amudguha, the mud bass. There's a lot of mud bass around the graveyard and everywhere.
Have you found any that are hard to find in Saipan yet?
Not yet, but I'm pretty sure I will be able to find when we go down to the south.
Since you've been here, what kind of omelet have you seen? Do you see it around?
I see a lot of those that I already see and have at home, but I find that they have a lot of the maigulalo, a very, very important ingredient for the female douche, and because it's the red type, and that's the kind that is being used for medicine. And I see them a lot, and they seem to the boys seem to weed around them and just let them propagate, they make them grow.
Since you've been in Alamagan, when you first arrived, how did you feel?
Oh, I felt awesome. I feel welcome. Spirits were very happy way before our arrival.
Why are they happy for us to be here?
Well, because we're here for a good purpose, so that we may know more about their history here and to know more about our culture. And they get to share their love and wisdom with us in a way that only they can share it.
Alamagan is the 10th island in the Marianas chain. One of the earliest maps, drawn by Petrus Planicus in 1594, recorded it as Artomagan. This means the Marianas chain of islands had Spanish contact prior to the establishment of a colonial government and missions in the southern islands in 1668. Radiocarbon dating shows that the earliest record of settlement on Alamagan and Pagan was 1300 AD, with the first Latte being built between 1320 and 1468 AD. At its peak, the estimated population on Alamagan was roughly 300 people. After the Spanish reduction from 1697 to the early 1900s, no one lived in the northern islands. What does agalundi do?
Agalundi is very good for the skin.
Mr. Mendiola, for now, what is it?
Agalundi.
For what else?
Only para lasas para pinago.
Like a Viagra?
Ay, for the skin.
What is this?
This is the bubulong. Calls it mustard from the mustard plant. We also know it as the peppermint. We do a lot of these kind of, basic first aid.
We are here. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
This is the village of Song Song in the south. We start the hike here and we end the hike here. The last of the copra farmers lived in this village in the early 1900s. The last settlers on this side of the island were evacuated in the late 80s due to volcanic activity. As you hike around this side of the island, you find remnants of lusong and other grinding stones used in the early century. The views are vast 100-foot cliffs between you and the shoreline. Before we began our hike, Uncle Donald chanted for permission and blessings from our ancestors, the Manantigu and Tatomotna, people here before us.
So Uncle Don, when we were hiking, you handed this to me and said that this is medicine.
Yeah.
What did you mean?
Okay. Out of about 1,000 coconuts, you get only one that comes up right there from where it was attached to the bunch. And when it grows out there, it's believed by the ancients that it's very good medicine. It can be used for spiritual stuff like removing curses or reversing a love potion put on a person. When a person is being enamored by magic, then the person would tend to get skinny, lose appetite, can't do anything but just be with a person that he was enamored to fall in love with. So a healer would find one of these out of so many coconuts. They would go in the jungle and search for one. As soon as they find one, they would run out, give it to the healer, crack it open, say an incantation, and have the person who was enamored eat they call it the coconut apple, and then they made the person or the healer chew the coconut meat, spit it out, and squeeze the milk on top of the person's the temple.
Oh wow.
Okay, that's what it's used for.
Oh wow. And then the person should no longer be enamored.
Right after.
Breaks the love spell.
It's very powerful because the coconut is believed to be the tree of life.
Almost.
What's up, one? I hope so. Are you the oldest in the family or? So who's the first one?
My older sister.
Okay, so she's the Totomon.
By this point, we had hiked up and down several times, all in search of something very special. The jungle had reclaimed the space, so the search was difficult. Thank goodness we had the mayor as our guide.
Sige, ay sa kunan Buddha no, maduk. Okay, sige, jadi magaduk. Dos na dang tulo jika tilang bidung laki lo. Sige. Sa kasi ko lenya. Dos rastol na matay binesti. Sige, mausar ki para lombok dan sige siya. Naging guahan pa lombok kamo to pa nasadik. Guahan siya tagi pa magun para rajo to siya. Malolomo ki patigi para Amot. Malomo na pandanya. Pero sa manadan, jadi main na siruana ni ampi. Actually toro na pandanya gini jadi na lombok. Damungan na mapot ni Permanaraja to rigim biyan. Dan yung otro taron na explanation ni niya na makiki Permanarang tulo sila madok. No debi na madulog. Adumidi pwede no mas di piano pa mapokka sa manalandang tulo daw na mudungi madok ibadok. Okay?
This one, we have a lot in the jungle. Like if we go around, we find a lot of this. But this is the end of the ancient village.
Okay.
So the more you go that way, it's nothing already. So this is the main village. Actually, this is an ancient village right here. And you know, one time I went hunting, and on the way back I saw 20 baby chicken. So when I started chasing it, two of the baby chicken went under this rock. So when I was digging it out, tried to catch the baby chicken, I found the pounder for this lusung.
And the ponder is still there?
Yeah, it's still down there. But my belief that if we find something like this, I believe that it's not supposed to be removed. You might get sick or
It's just better to just leave it in
yeah,
peace.
just leave it. And also we have to believe that our ancestors, when they hide something, that means they don't wanna give somebody or something like that. Like they don't wanna give it away. Like they just wanna keep it on their where their lusung is. Namno si Beneventi si Santos Jr. Idoko tayo pogo ini go mayor ni Northern Ireland. So masagazo gini Alamagan. Sige magin na bilis ni Dumangkuluzo. Manasagami si Tatawbiyo dan si Nanobia. Ida pumaksay dulu. Mapuksay gini magin na bilis for almost 13 years. Then I moved down to Saipan for school. Todo do'y Manilo man mapuksay gini ulo sila. Todo ami 11. 8 boys and 3 sisters. So they all grew up on this island. The question is, sana po atunga si Nanobia si Nangkadin.
Ingat.
Si Nanobia ni haamti luki. Maulik gidi pandan pergi tampo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terus bodoki bahasa amu ni tadiana na si Nanobia ni ko panamti. Bawa tas tagu pabiano palung suli di sana amu.
The story, amon di masoda gini manisita, waha sa matuman ni Gagi. Terus bisa dari manilunya dari pembaru siya na pamagunia, itu siya na mantiyan dan tunya. Man matatago, pus manyana magagagi lo man matatago, pus matugo hafa na amot manafan sa sigdi para hafa na klasin uso. Pus matugo lopi lo, si man mafanagi, ni palabras yamon niya para mapatila sa kada, amon na malumukin pero humli tao to waha palabras niya. Pus adi man mafanagi ni pero matugo ito na amot, man mafanagi lopi no ipalabras ni mauusa ani pero malug wala dang welo sa medyo fanlalalo do posinya na judi neste na ginapon na siya may akas ni para binafaset ni para amot sa daging nisisita pus tipensili lo esina dang kluna necesidad then gagawam din kanay medyo na seli da medyo na ajuda so inius malong no.
Kalau ko manonggi sang kudano ni basti na amot ko makat kurun soda.
Pero masoda.
Yeah.
So pioda kumudangin no PCC amot para mausanya. Sa makka di siya naman na homlo sa pimapun masoda. Logwahay di tumuli sumasya makat. Di puro debno mumuy pamanamti na ni espiritu. Di puro hano gatigi so mumuy dos puro kontrak. So haboy amot do suli. Ni sito subedyo medgut kurasonnya ni puro suli amot. Kadangit ti medgut kurasonnya sinya matarabira amot na manabineno na matulay ka otro klase o suno pinanyayo pan sinya manamalawi pa sinili amot. No?
Gamagay dia como tagia tawag di ujung da pabitsubi di sana amot. Debi na di napakto todo di tinago niya na amot ni puro lumok da puro sesti ti amotan una da ti da taigi ti pamati.
Tiningo. Tiningo.
Komento sa po di zo amti, afad zo amti.
Kung zo amti palabras sa moro ni nangilang mo zo amti kumekil niya efektibo na klasin a amti. Maulik man amti sa nanahom do kusaling numahom din niya zo amti.
What is it called again?
Padang, songkong padang. This one is very old.
And it's always been by the Manamco, by the Antigo. They've always been cultivating it and and drying it up and processing it properly, and they make tortillas. It was eaten. A certain very specific way to process it so that the toxins can be removed before drying it and grinding it up for tortillas.
But this one is long time. From this point all the way out to the main village, that's considered ancient village.
When
Bigger than the one in Pagan.
how many houses do you think there were here?
Here?
Did you ever count when you were a kid?
No.
Yeah.
But I know that I found like maybe good like 10 on this side.
Oh wow.
Wow, mas dahulu malagi pa sa putesis kita ito sa local medicine. Yeah, pareho dan ito ng ancient side.
By the time we got to the most southern part of the hike, we were very tired. By this point, we had been hiking about 4 hours. In this area, you can really see the evidence of the copra industry. The view with Guguen in the distance was breathtaking. After a short lunch, enjoying the view, we hiked back along the southeastern coast. Along the steep cliffs, away from the tangled interior. The inner terrain of the island was so dense with the overgrowth of pago-pago trees. It was so steep, up and down, up and down. This part of the adventure felt like a luxury. It was truly such a beautiful part of the experience for everyone. And although we didn't find any of the medicinal plants we were looking for, we did find lusong. So many lusong. It is clear that the Manantigu lived and thrived there. And here we are, back to the beginning of where we started our day. We found all of the cultural sites we were looking for, but we did not find the medicinal plants we were looking for. So we knew that the next day's activity would be focused on looking for those plants. In the Copra days, this trail, this narrow, steep trail I'm walking down, used to be wide enough to run your kalesa, or cow-drawn cart, to the shore. Now, after a long hike, it's a very hard trail to walk. As we gathered at the shore at the end of the long hike, I remembered what the mayor had said about the lusong along the shoreline.
Lusong down there where we land? On the rocks?
Many.
Maybe when they come from fishing and they need to pound something like a clam or the lusong here, for me I believe that even they're using to pound their food like breadfruit.
In 2014, the archaeologists J.S. Athens and Thomas Leopard documented 14 to 15 Latte sets clustered together in the area of the northern Batida camp. The purpose of that project was to build a deeper understanding of the prehistoric occupation of Gani as a whole. There were two main questions to be answered. The first was to find out when the islands were first settled, and the second was whether prehistoric archaeological remains show any variation compared to the well-known islands in the south.
So far the
Radiocarbon dating suggests that construction of these Latte postdate Spanish colonization. This means our ancestors only settled in Gani in the mid 14th to mid 15th century AD, after colonization began in the south parts of the Marianas.
You can see it's all in a line. Oh wow.
But this one, I think they don't finish it.
It's just a new
Yeah,
one.
they just started it.
And so all throughout here you see all the rocks, and this is all village site.
Yeah.
In the research shared by Athens and Leopard, there is no earlier evidence of pre-Latte activity. This settlement is substantially later than those found in the southern islands of the Marianas chain, which radiocarbon dating tells us was settled even 2,000 years earlier.
It's already considered historic site. Anywhere you dig, you find bone. I think for me, that's my belief that this place is it's like a hospital. So when somebody got sick from Pagan, they bring it here. Latte, when they make it stand, it's like always 3 feet up from the ground.
And the ones down there look smaller because of erosion.
Erosion
Yes.
covering it.
So they were actually quite a lot higher than I realized.
So this is one of the burial.
If you dig here in this round pit,
You find only skull and maybe the bone of the fingers, but you don't find the parts of their leg, their arm. Maybe they're using it for their like tooth, like spear. But actually, we dig one hole down there and we only find skull. No, maybe like 10 in one hole. And I think that one they documented already.
you were saying that this place you think would have been like a hospital island because there's so many
Yeah.
bones everywhere you dig.
I think for me that's my belief that this place is it's like a hospital. So when somebody got sick from Pagan, they bring it here, and when they die, they just bury it here. Anywhere you dig, you find bone. That's why it's hard to open the agricultural homestead here to solve the story. Yeah.
So this is as far as we go, as far as the village goes?
Yeah. This is a Patiru village. It's a north side of the island.
Can you describe Patiru village? From where to where?
Actually, Alamagan, there's two villages. One is Songsung village and one is Patiru. I think the first village that we have here in Alamagan is the Songsung. Sengsung is the first village that they established here in Alamagan.
The kind of environment that Pipet put would grow.
The pipit food likes to grow on the moist because they need some of the moist place to grow.
Now that we were out of the old village, we were looking for plants, and they were everywhere. This northern part of the village is the right environment for so many things to grow.
So if you're gonna use this medicine, then you only take this. This is the medicine right here. Look. This one they mix with the pepper soup.
Tell us.
My name is Santos. I'm from Alamagan. I live in Alamagan. I really love this place. I used to follow my dad to get the medicine. Back then was easier than right now.
Oh,
Yes.
how is it easier?
The difference right now and before, Before, there's a lot of people here on this island. I think it's more than 80 people. Everybody has their own cow with the calesa. So when they go to their farm, they use the calesa to go like to plant something. But now you can see it's all tangled. It's a big difference. You cannot see the old trails. Now we're trying our best to reopen the trails. It's hard now, not like before. It's kind
Di pareho sa nintikusan nanto.
Wow, pupuno.
inamno si Beneventi si Santos Jr. Bowie mayor ni Northern Ireland. I'm really trying to work hard to develop these islands up north.
When we went up to the old village, it was just wonderful. I felt there were a lot of spirits around. They were just all around, and they were all smiles, and they were very happy. And they were like just. I saw all the medicines that we had. Yeah, I thought I was going to bring something more. I was going to find something that we didn't have here, but. And what I found was just they were more lush.
Scholars surmise the late settlement of Gani was because most of the islands in the north are volcanic, dry, and with few beaches or surface water sources. But after colonialization began in the south, our Manantigu chose to face the challenges of living in the northern islands and made their way sailing out to Gani. We did not find all the plants we were looking for, but what we found was lush and abundant like everything else in the north. From the land to the sea, Gani is a cornucopia of natural resources we must protect for future generations.
I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to join the team as we took an expedition to Alamagan, and it was a phenomenal experience and a really special opportunity to have my eyes opened to a different way of thinking about medicine. I am a allopathically trained physician. I went to the University of California, San Francisco, and Harvard University for my training, and I come with a mindset of a Western perspective. And so it was fascinating to me to see how that can complement the traditional healing practices that we learned about.
What did you observe about any of the plants that we saw or that we were looking for?
Spiritually, once it was kind of articulated what we were looking for, it was abundant. We were very blessed. So my name is Terry Francisco. I'm studying as an apprentice with Donald Mendiola. I started studying with ZOMT on Guam in 2016, and I was just drawn. That's how I connected eventually to Donald, and as our bond grew, right, I really aligned with my calling here in Saipan. So I decided to move after coming every month for maybe 8 months. I decided to move in December of 2019.
Wow. And so you've been an apprentice for all this time, and you got to travel up to Alamagan.
Yes.
And so, what was your experience like being in the jungle and looking for the plants and just in the spiritual world of the north? What was it like for you?
It was magical, right? And magical because we're completely disconnected from modern and contemporary influence and stress, and we're fully immersed in the old magic, right? We're fully immersed in being with each other and spiritually immersed in the environment, right? So in regards to my study, I could hear better and I could see better, right, in that space, because there was nothing to taint. Yeah, there's nothing, there are no barriers spiritually. And it's just it's completely pure up there.